Good evening, everybody. I have decided to do a public service announcement as a result of an experience I had today that caused me to do some self-reflection and also compelled me to want to share a little bit of knowledge, give you a couple of tools that you can use for your own benefit. When I first became a nurse years ago, I worked with a lot of nurses who were overweight, even obese, and I recall saying to myself that as a nurse, it is my responsibility to be a role model for health, to allow myself to be a reflection of what a healthy human being looked like. And of course, a good portion of my nursing career, I too was overweight. So clearly I was a bit naive because I didn't really realize back then the various and diverse issues that occur in our lives that play a role in our health and the size of our bodies, right? So I didn't realize that maybe perhaps many of the women and men that I saw that were overweight and were not reflecting an image of health were clearly dealing with some other things. And now I know that to be psychological, mental, emotional, unaddressed feelings. And so what happened today, as I was doing an assessment of a young woman who also works in the medical field, and she was, voicing to me how angry, upset, and frustrated she was with herself because she had the knowledge of the illness that she was dealing with, but she brushed it off and finds herself now in the hospital dealing with this issue, whereas if she had taken the knowledge, the healthcare knowledge that she possesses and applied it to herself, perhaps she wouldn't find herself in this situation. And immediately, my heart just went out to her because I could tell that she was very serious about what she was saying. I could tell by the emotion in her face, her nonverbal communication just said it all. And I totally related because I've been in that position myself. And what I know now is that oftentimes, especially people who work in healthcare and who do have a knowledge base with regard to health, we are not always aware that we're not applying that knowledge to ourselves. And so I immediately told this young lady to forgive herself. Part of me wanted to say, you know what? Pull out a picture of yourself as a little girl and tell that little girl that you love her and that you forgive her for not acting on the knowledge that she possessed. And I say that because every time you have an experience where it results in you feeling angry with yourself, frustrated, or disappointed, I want you to think of that as a cell inside your body that represents that one experience, holding on to the memory of your unforgiveness, your frustration, and your disappointment with yourself. And then every time you have an experience, and it doesn't have to be health related, it can be any other experience that you have in life where you again find yourself angry with yourself, frustrated, and disappointed. Know that every time that happens, another cell is generated, and it's going to clump with the previous cells that hold that same amount of unforgiveness, frustration, and disappointment. Eventually, those cells form what we call a tumor. Now, the tumor can be benign or cancerous. Nonetheless, it's a tumor, and you have the power to prevent, minimize, and reduce or eliminate the possibility of developing those tumors altogether, at least that specific type of tumor. Not only that, but not addressing the issues also lead to mental health, mental illness, a mental disease, a mental disorder that, people who look like me and people in the Black community, we don't readily embrace mental illness. And so again, you'll find yourself unaware, even though we know that mental illness is a thing. Because of our programming and because of our culture and traditions, once again, you will find yourself having knowledge, but not being aware that you need to apply that knowledge to yourself, to your own life. And doing so will prevent you from having future issues. It requires a change of mind, a change of thought, a change of behaviors, people. I share this with you from a place of experience. I've been through it. I'm not telling you about something I don't know firsthand. We have the hardest time forgiving ourselves for the mistakes that we've made or the lack of action. We have a difficult time forgiving ourselves. And then the next thing you know, you've heard of people saying that she died from a broken heart, or, he died from a broken heart, or whatever. Generally, it's not because somebody else did it to you. It's because you did it to you. We're so quick to go out and help everybody else and leave nothing for ourselves. And like the airline stewardess will tell you on the plane, if there's an issue and the oxygen mask drops out of the ceiling, please put yours on first. I don't care who is sitting next to you, be it a child or a senior. Put your mask on first, because you have the knowledge to be able to help the senior and the child, but you can't help them if you're already not breathing. So you put your oxygen mask on first. If you work in healthcare, you apply that knowledge to your health first before you go out and be of benefit to everyone else. Now, I am the first one to say that I am a firm supporter of servant leadership. But in order for you to serve, you must first be alive. You got to be alive. You have to be healthy. How can you be of benefit to anyone else if you yourself are failing, falling, and frail? So I'm not going to do this, go into a lot more detail, because I got work to do. I got work to do for work, and I have homework to do. But I wanted to come forth and bring that public service announcement. If you need to go out and get you a journal and write down your feelings about how you're feeling towards yourself, please do so. But before you close that book, make sure you have documented that you forgive yourself and that you love yourself, and that you will make a conscious effort. That means effort with awareness, to make sure that you put yourself first. Be a servant to yourself first. Then you can go out and serve others with a leadership style. That leadership is demonstrated in the fact that you take care of you first. That's all from The Conscious Nurse in Black and White. I love you. Take care and have a great evening.